You have actually called your exhibition Obscura, so I would like to know why you call Obscura this exhibition, and also, you are doing this world premiere at the Maison du Diable, that is, a specific location. So what does it mean to you to have brought your work there? And also you are, in the context of the Federico Fellini Foundation and the UNESCO celebration. So a lot of things going on. So please,
Definitely.
yeah, let us know more.
Yes. Well, when I got the phone call that the Fellini Foundation would like to do an exhibition with my work, I immediately was in my head. I thought, of course, because I'm a big admirer of Fellini. I've always been a big cineast, enthusiast for cinema, and yeah, so Fellini, I felt for the first exhibition of my works, I thought, wow, okay, this is an honor. This fits perfectly because I'm also, as a photographer and then fashion photographer, when it comes to my portfolio and my expression, I'm always trying to look for more cinematic visuals or photographs that are a little bit, how do you say, mysterious, or can be before a moment or before something is happening or after something was happening. So also in the exhibition, you won't find traditional or now, more commercial fashion photographs. I did a selection definitely of those photographs that in the last 10 years have been the ones that have been close to my heart. And that's why also I thought of the name Obscura. First of all, a reference to the camera Obscura. Yeah. And second of all, because all of the pictures I found and that I selected, so it took me 3 months to go through my archive and to select the ones that I felt that I was most proud of, that for me gave something more than just, selling clothes or just, how do you say, like a photograph that is only, like a wallpaper, or, and so in an Obscura, I thought, okay, it also means something dark, poetic, and when you then go into maybe a more abstract word like obscure, the English word for there's something strange going on. So I felt it fitted perfectly. And Fellini is also, in his movies, there's so many layers and so much mystery. So I thought this is, the perfect combination.
Blend, yeah, exactly what I saw, and I really like that. Looking at the photos, the one that I have seen are like reminds me a lot of pop art, a little bit surrealism.
Uh-huh.
Also,
Right, exactly.
like the black and white portrait that makes me think about the first work of Peter Limber. So like the fact
Thank you.
that you have given a charm, like you say, because they have a fascination when someone is looking at them. So how did you blend actually all those languages together? Like when you started, you already had in mind this kind of photography, or is something that you develop along the way?
Yes, I mean, I think obviously I studied visual communication, and with my studies, definitely quite quickly you come across the great photographers like Man Ray, Irving Penn, Peter Lindbergh has always been, a big, how do you say, visual mentor for me. And so I think when you start to get into studying all the different photographers, automatically they stay with you, right? So when you are actually photographing yourself, deep down your subconscious, there's always, some of these references that you have. And as much as you try to ignore them, because you also want to create something your own, we all agree, for some reason, I think we all agree. And that is also something very interesting in picture selection. When I studied with under the professor Ute Mahler, and she was one of the first big and known fashion photographers in the DDR. So there was one fashion magazine back then called Sibylle, and she was the fashion photographer, and she taught us really the whole art of doing picture selection. And at the same time, I assisted Uwe Düttmann, and he once said to me, "You shouldn't assist at all. Actually, you shouldn't assist any photographer. You should really try to find your own language. You shouldn't copy. Sometimes you hear you should copy the greats in order to find your own language, but he was very much about don't copy too much. So that was always a big inside of me. I was trying not to go to Helmut Newton direction or Peter Lindbergh direction. But of course, you look at those pictures, and when we do picture selection, or when it doesn't matter who you're talking to or looking at pictures, quite quickly we all have a feeling of this is good, right? We all can agree. Maybe a minimum. Maybe I don't know, let's say you have 10 photographs of the same moment, there we can start to argue. But I think we can all, there's something in us that has a very similar compass to why we react to a photograph and when the composition is right. And obviously the masters of photography, they are the masters of that. And so for me, it was always admiring colleagues and admiring great photographers. But at the same time, when you're on set, it's a completely new setup. You can never copy a photograph. You can never do it. It's a different model. It's a different light. It's a different time. But having those references in your head and learning from those really influences me, definitely.
And you actually have said along the way that you try to have new eyes, right? So I think this is the concept you are
Yes.
right now. And I would like to ask you also if there are, particular images or, a series of photo in this exhibition that, have a personal, or there are, like emblematic symbolism or something that is very special for you, and if so, why? And also, I like also to ask you like a technical question, like what camera are you using? Like, do you use the same camera for all the exhibition, or you have tried different ones?
I'll answer the second question first. I mostly use analog, a small analog, the Leica, and also the small Yashica. I love to use them, yes. And in the exhibition, there's a combination of the analog photographs, but also some digital. Depends really on a lot of things. Sometimes I think the analog always gives a certain feeling. I love analog photography. I love there's always what I often do is I use the digital camera as a Polaroid. So like we're finding the location, it doesn't cost anything. You can be quick, you can see it immediately. And once we have decided, my team, stylist, hair, makeup, and myself, when we have decided on, okay, here is a good spot or a good area for the photograph, then I will always take out the analog camera and use that. And when you then compare, it's always the analog pictures. There's something magical in it. And the first question was about which ones really resonate, or if I have special connections. I would say it's similar to, how do you say, I mean, whenever you've done a photograph or a series, you've been in a certain space or in a certain moment in your life, so all these photographs always remind me of maybe privately, was in a relationship. Of course, I was in all these pictures now, but where was I emotionally? And so all of the photographs mean something for me in relation to where I was in life. But the one that I also used as the post now, those more, how to say, distorted ones that are with the blue background, where I did the Photoshop. That was actually when I was 6 months pregnant. And this was in 2020. So this was before AI. And I had done this shoot in the studio, and I really felt, there was something missing. And I started working in Photoshop, which I normally never do. I love, like, a photograph is a photograph. I don't want to retouch. I don't want to, but then with this series, I really decided to use Photoshop and to play around. And I think they really mean something, because I was 6 months pregnant, and I think I was hormonal, and there was something going on, so they really tell that story for me. And right now, the series that is the last series I did was the one with the black and white series with the round shape.
Yeah, yeah.
And they are the last ones I did 1.5 years ago. And I really felt like from when I've been working 15 years now as a photographer, and it's the first series now that I've done after giving birth, after becoming a mom, and having a break, obviously, for about 1.5 years. I did do 20% of jobs that I used to do. And then I felt like I really just want to concentrate on the subject, the model, a shape, a light, and let's just figure out how I can capture that. And it really became something about me as a woman dressing, trying to find a symbolism in hiding or, exposing myself. And I love that series so much. I'm very proud. It's reduced, it's graphical, but still I resonated emotionally, yeah. So
Wow.
that is the one I'm right now proudest of.
Yeah,
As much as I love all the other photos.
yeah, it's, I think it's amazing, like also reliving part of your life through your artistic journey, because it's
Yeah,
like you are the only one who can tell us how to, read something that is only yours. So it's
exactly.
spectacular.
Exactly.
And like I'm very curious. I would like to ask you this. Since you have done also work in the cinema, like photographer on film sets, if I'm right. Um,
With Ruben, yes, with my husband, Ruben
so
Östlund. Hmm.
what was your, like, I don't know, do you have some kind of chemistry when you work on a project together? Did you ask, like, oh, I want to show you this? How does it work? I mean, like, as a couple, you sharing your work with him, or you do separate ways? I don't know, like, I'm curious about it.
Yes, of course. I mean, Ruben has been, we've been together 11 years and he's been very inviting. And of course, let's say for the first movie that we were together, which was The Square,
Yeah.
we were very much still, I'm doing my fashion photographs and he's, doing his film, even though we were already talking a lot about the script, The Square together. Like it was, yeah, a lot of dialogue and a lot of testing out and pitching, and we realized we were actually a great team when it comes to that. And by the time Triangle came around, we had been together 7 years, and it was a whole like a complete different thing. We were starting to morph even more, as a team. So it felt really natural. It was so natural for me to be on set and to be part of that whole shooting, since he also, how to say, I mean, we're best friends and he relies on me so much. I give him stability and safety, and someone to talk to at the end of a shooting day. And at the same time, I can talk to him about my work. So we were morphing together. And this is now also with this new film, Entertainment System is Down. I've been part of the whole process even more since, we started, we got together. And so even like the whole process with casting and meeting the actors before we shoot. And so I don't know, Ruben is such a kind and social person, but there's something about women that are more talented in getting the group together and creating a family. That's just it's more in us in that sense. So basically we realized quite quickly also for The Square, but especially then with Triangle, that when I was around I would really become friends with all the actors, and also with the team. It's a cousin for photography. I totally respect when people are working. I know exactly how to move around on set, so I don't become someone that is, I always call it shooting tourists, those people that are on set that should not be there, they have nothing to do, but they're taking energy, from the actual people working. So in the end, then it was just everything has happened really naturally, with no ulterior motive, and suddenly I am also family. So yeah, everyone immediately also embraced me in the fold. And then a lot of these photographs that happen on set are me hanging out with the cast, with the crew, and going through the ups and downs of a shooting. And yeah, and so everyone is aware I'm a photographer, and everyone is always happy when I'm there and I can take some photos. And yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I don't know, I think we have maybe time for one last question. I don't want to
Yeah.
take much time away from you because it's almost the time to go and
Yeah,
have your
exactly. And
inauguration.
by the way, I think in this room it's 50 degrees or something, because
God.
Sion today is 37 degrees, and it's like really that weather before the storm where it's
Yeah,
really, really hot. And I
yeah.
think in this room it's like 50 degrees.
Oh
So
my
maybe
God.
I'm getting more and more glowy.
Don't worry at all. You're wonderful.
Getting a
Don't
bit.
worry about that. Really, don't worry. So, like,
Yeah.
last question. What do you really hope like visitors can, like can take away from your work? What do you expect like people to maybe to share some opinion on your work? What do you hope they resonate with? And if I don't know, like you want to give like some advice on how to visit your journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand. I mean, I think when I can only make reference to myself when I'm going through an exhibition, and I think when you give yourself some time and you really, look at a picture, and it's some pictures just automatically touch you, right? And they make you happy. And all, I guess photography is so different to obviously to film, because you can try to tell a story, but you can never tell a story in that way, right? Because you don't have dialogue, you don't have music. So I think for a photograph to really reach someone, it is harder, but at the same time, I just hope that the photographs in general, or even if it's one photograph in the whole exhibition that touches you in you somehow, or you get reminded, or you just get happy. I guess that would be, the ultimate, and my goal, just get happy. It's also an escapism in a way, instead of looking at TikTok or Instagram, just really, and try to also give a different context of a photograph. We're so used to scrolling and just like looking at something for a second. So I would advise to really take some time, really enjoy looking at a photograph like in front of a painting, and hopefully one of them will touch you, make you just happy for a second.
I received the emotion, yeah, of the photography.
Yeah, you know.
Perfect. And one last thing I would like to ask you, if you would describe like the way you perceive photography, like what it means for you, what would you say?
For me, it really, photography really means for me total total concentration of the moment. Like when I'm photographing, everything else is away. Like there's no problems, there's no egoism. Also, that it's just me, the model, and we agree on this silent dance that we're doing, where it's a dance always. And I love the moment when we both understand, there it is. And we always know, it's always when you're photographing, we both understand, here was that magical moment. When do you get that? When you are having a dialogue, or even maybe when you're dancing with a stranger at 3 in the morning, and at a club, like maybe you get there, that moment. Oh, here's a moment. I don't know. But as a photographer, like for me, it's really it's meditation. It's complete. The world is gone. I'm concentrating and capturing just 1 second when the light hits something magical, or there's something that I feel like, wow, there it is, a painting or a moment that I haven't seen before. That's my creation. I'm really looking. I love looking through the camera. Like I feel I'm looking at the world. I'm looking at something. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Like, thank you so much, Tina. It was a pleasure
Of
meeting
course.
you, and I hope,
It's such a pleasure.
yeah, I hope to see the exhibition like sooner
Yes,
because I
please
would like to
come.
come to this. So, like, all the
Or
best.
for the finissage.
Yeah,
For the
yeah, all the
finissage, we will
best.
come back.
And
Thank
yeah,
you.
also there will be, I think the foundation will be, will give a retrospective also on the Rubens work. So yeah,
Exactly.
I'm
So
gonna
we'll come at some
follow it.
point, of
Yeah,
course.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you
Really.
for your time. Thank you for the
No,
questions.
all the
Okay,
best.
bye-bye.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.